Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to do a little video on the Ktm350, the 2025 model. I do have a few upgrades that I put on there. Um, the first thing I did on this was the spring kit, the WP 6500 spring kit conversion. The reason I did that, I did have a 2020 KTM 350 before, a few years ago, that I just had a bad experience with the air forks. I wasn't a fan of them at all. Just never felt right. And so when I picked this bike up, I just right from the showroom, I said put the 6500 kit in there, and I've been very happy with that since. I was a little hesitant on getting this because I did hear that the 23s and the 24s were very stiff, and I'm not a big fan of stiff chassis. I'm a vet rider, but I did have a 2021 YZ250F prior to this, and that bike was very comfortable. I really liked the stock suspension on that bike. Just started looking for something with a little bit more power, but after seeing the reviews, and they said they made chassis adjustments to this year, and kind of softened it back up a little bit, I figured I'd take the chance and see what see what happens, and I'm really glad I did. If you have any concerns about a chassis being too stiff or rigid, anything like that, this bike doesn't have any of that. It's one of the first times I've seen them make certain claims and it actually be true, because from the moment I got on the bike, I just felt the chassis itself was very compliant. It was fairly plush. I don't think you'll ever get as good as that KYB suspension on the Yamahas, but all in all, for an older vet guy, I run the plus 45 class. I really enjoy it. When they did the 6500 kit for me, they initially set it up a little on the soft side, so I did have to make some adjustments there. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was kind of, didn't have any hold up in the corners, so I really wasn't able to push hard through turns. As soon as I made some adjustments, I actually made adjustments to the preload after doing a little research, and as soon as I tightened up that preload and it held that front end up a little bit more, my cornering became much better. Not only pushing through the long sweeping turns, but also in the tight corners as well. It just seemed to track so much better through the turns after I made those adjustments. I still play with the clickers a little bit to really fine tune it, but I did do the bladder kit in the rear shock as well. I still feel I can stiffen up the rear shock a little bit. There are some times where I'm going in through like some long whoop sections, coming out of turns, stuff like that, where it just feels like it squats a little bit. But all in all, I'm really happy with the bike. Aside from the suspension, I did the FMF 4.1 kit. I'm certainly not made of money, but I did go ahead and get the tie kit, the titanium header. Not only that, but I did go off of Chris Kiefer's recommendation of, if I'm looking for a little bit more low-end torque, to go with the 250 header pipe instead of the 350 header pipe. And the idea there was, this is a shorter run here, and that actually gives you a little bit more low-end torque. I can say, in my experience, I would agree, and it was a noticeable difference coming out of turns, where before I would always have to be in second and really hammer out of the turn, as to where now I can stay in third maybe lug it just a little bit, but it pulls itself out of those turns in third. And for me, it's just less shifting. I'm not having to, hold on to the bike as much because I can come out a little smoother in the turn. And if I'm needing to shift up into third before a jump, then I'm already in that gear ready to go. So that was a good recommendation. I really did like that. I did do the Renthal fat bar. I just kept hearing that the stock KTM bar was very stiff. I went with the fat bar. Not only that, but the R-Works edition. I didn't see too many of those, but I think I found that on Motorsport. And the thing behind that is it's a 36 millimeter diameter inside of here. And then the idea and their claim to fame was this area of the handlebar underneath the grip is an actual thinner material. So the inner wall is actually thinner because they fatten it up so much by the triple clamp. Comfortable bar. I mean, nothing spectacular. It's not a huge game changer, but it was significantly lighter than the stock bar. So if you're one who counts ounces and grams, and then that might be the handlebar for you. Other than that, I mean, I did the Renthal chain and sprocket after it's needing the first sprocket change. It's got about 25 hours on it right now, but yeah, all in all, I mean, I'm really happy with the bike. The thing has plenty of power for me. I still want to make some other adjustments to the suspension just to see if I can get it a little more plush in certain areas. I don't know if I'm just being a little picky, or how tunable that suspension really is, but it's kind of a learning experience with that. But you can't be afraid to make these adjustments. If I never would have played with that preload adjustment, I don't think I ever would have been happy with that suspension, because the shop did a really good job. They're very knowledgeable, but they just, from the information that I gave them, maybe they just set it up a little on the softer side. So once I got that dialed in, it was a big improvement, like I said. But plenty of power, comfortable bike. If you're considering one of the 350s, I mean, I really can't have anything bad to say about the bike. The only thing, from time to time, I have a little issue shifting from second to third. Same thing with my 2020. I don't know if it's just the stock KTM shifter or what it is, but every once in a while I get a little caught up on that. Brakes are good. Like I said, this has about 25 hours, maybe 26 hours on it. It has, yet to give me a single issue with any sort of starting or weird noises or weird behaviors. It's a very consistent bike, but this is, I ride down in South Florida, and the tracks down here are sandy and a little harder packed. Sometimes you'll see some harder packed stuff, but more like clay. But this is my first time ever doing one of these goofy videos. So if you get anything out of that, very good. If not, no big deal. But I hope if you are considering a 350, give one a shot, because I've been very happy with it. So hope that helps. Thanks.